It's Lucky Podcast number 13, and I am honored and privileged enough to host the Grand Slam champion today, so stick around and listen. Welcome, everyone, to the EWA Podcast. I know it's been a giant podcast-sized hole in your heart, and I know I've used that on an introduction before, but I promise you, I will not go away for this long again. And I'm back. It's the week of Red, White, and Bruised, and I want to give a shout-out to Bryce, Dylan, and Bick on their Bagpipe Report podcast. Amazing stuff, guys. Just the fact that you guys managed to fill in 57 minutes with pay-per-view pregame for the EWA is pretty amazing and very impressive. And besides your guys' accents, it was a really good podcast. And speaking of accents, my guest this week has one. And I want to welcome to the podcast, for the first time ever, my opponent for this week at Red, White, and Bruised, the man who controls CM Punk, TZ. Welcome to the podcast, buddy. Nice to have you on.
Ow! Nice to be here, man. Thanks for having me.
The odds are good that TZ is drunk as hell right now. Is that right, TZ?
Unfortunately not. I'm living the CM Punk lifestyle right now.
Oh, so you really immerse yourself into your characters is what you're trying to say.
No, I just can't afford any drink right now.
That's understandable. Well, I tell you what, I want to touch on some certain subjects that I think you guys are going to enjoy, but I'm going to start from the beginning. This is my personal experience with you, TZ, as far as your return to the EWA goes.
Yeah, okay. Shoot.
You came back at King of the Ring.
Yep.
And had this long-winded speech, took up like 3 pages of...
that was a long one, yeah.
Yeah, that's what she said. And then the board goes down. And you are nowhere to be found. Like, no one has any way to get a hold of you and get you to this new board. And so CM Punk makes this grand return and then just, fuck it, he's gone. He disappears. So, and then the board comes back, and I don't know who tells you or if you just happen upon it, but walk us through the process of you coming back, the board dying, and then you having to find out where the new board is, or how'd you find out that the old board was back?
Yeah, that was a weird one because well, obviously I was milling around the boards again. Like I had almost 2 years to the month out of the EWA, so I was milling around, and like my life had got really busy in those 2 years, and it sort of slowed down, and I thought, I kind of missed it, and I liked that I got to write, so I thought I'd come back and see kind of what the landscape was, and if I thought I could fit back into it, you know what I mean? So I saw it, and I saw like obviously it was cool. A lot of the guys who were there beforehand were still there, still doing really good stuff, and there were a lot of new guys as well. I think across the board, the quality is higher now than when I left in 2010. So I was messaging Newt back and forth, and I was messaging a few of the guys who I'd sort of had little run-ins with here and there back in the day, like John and Dylan and stuff, and just trying to see what it was that I could do now that I was back. Right. So me and Newt couldn't really come up with anything. John was preoccupied with whatever the fuck he was doing, so I messaged Dylan, and but then so I figured
at that time, Dylan was like, "Hey man, I'm the fucking EWA Grand Slam champion. I can't really help you out, right?"
Well, yeah, I think it's because he was still sore about me beating his ass back in August 2010, but no, Dylan, obviously, no, don't take that to heart, but So I thought, okay, whilst this is kind of getting sorted out, what I'm actually going to be doing, I'll just do a promo. like a fairly generic promo, but I thought, fuck it, I'm just going to call out everybody who I remember that is still here.
Yeah.
And generally just try and be, as vitriolic as possible in my return. So I did that, and the response afterwards was really cool. Like, it seemed like people were pretty happy I was back then. Not so much now.
Yeah, we'll get to that.
Yeah, we will. So then I had no idea about the board transfer or anything like that. So one day I'm gonna sign back on and finally get the ball rolling, and the board is just gone, dude. Like, it's completely white, and so I was just I was like, okay, it's going to be back at the same URL in a few days. They're just, Newt or Sir or whoever, they're sorting out whatever they need to. And then it just didn't really come back for the longest. So I was thinking in my head, I didn't think, okay, I saw that it said we're being moved to this board, so I was on like that board's general site, like searching for the keywords and doing all of this stuff, like but I couldn't find it anywhere. So I figured, like, okay, well, everybody is in this position. Like, there's nothing. Like, when I find it, that will be when it's back up. And in complete honesty, I don't remember exactly how I found it again, but when I did, shows had just been going on for fucking weeks. And so I was just like, oh shit, guess I need to cut another promo. And so I did, and well, I'm pretty glad that I did find my way back eventually.
And then let's talk about what happened once the board came back and you came in as CM Punk. There was you got drafted for Super Bowl. You were the first overall pick.
Yes.
And while some first overall picks in sports that you have no connotation of, people like Michael Olowokandi and Achilles Smith, and
I don't know what any of this is, but I'm sure that yes.
I'm talking about people who were busts as the first overall pick of their respective drafts.
Yeah.
You were anything but. You showed up during Super Bowl week and really showed everyone what you were capable of. And I remember reading your role plays that week and being like, this guy is certainly a threat and someone, that is, if he remains consistent, he can be a big challenger. And, well, you haven't lost since. So,
but I did lose then. So
yes, you did. And let's talk about that Super Bowl week. It's your first foray back, and was that your first match, or had you done some stuff on Slam before?
That was it.
All right, so your first match back was you working with 3 or 4 other people that week.
Yeah.
Why don't you walk us through that process and what that was like?
Well, it was cool. But beforehand, when I said I was talking to Dill, he actually had mentioned his dream Super Bowl team would have me on it. So initially I was assumed I was going to be drafted onto Steve Blackman's team.
Right.
Which I was game for, because me and Blackman had the history with the Empire, and we had what I thought was a really good feud back in 2010. Right. And I knew I liked working with the guy. Like, our Empire stuff was cool. So he wanted like a dream team. So he wanted, I believe he said his dream team was Blackman, Punk, Carino, and the fourth member, for the life of me, is completely gone.
Cody Rhodes.
Well, I mean, if it was my team, then
of course, of course.
I can't remember now. But so Dylan, he goes to draft me, but then Bryce messages me, and Bryce is a guy who I hadn't really had loads and loads of. I was aware of him back in the day, but we never really got to do a whole lot of work together. Or I don't know, maybe he was taking a break around that time, or he might have actually been doing Shark Boys, so his serious kind of
which is really a break for him. Let's be honest.
I mean, it's a very good way to take a break without taking a break.
You know what? Whenever I see his segments on Slam, I consider that a piss break, and I.
Yeah, right. Well, Bryce actually said earlier to me if he's expecting around 6 million compliments from me this podcast. So that was number one. We're probably going to be here for the next 10 hours of me trying to segue into Bryce compliments.
I don't have enough podcast in me to get through all those compliments for him.
Damn it. Well, I mean, they had enough time in their podcast to call Steve a prick like a million times, so...
Yeah, and they stroked your dick and not mine. Don't worry, it's just motivation, Aaron.
It's only motivation. But, anyway, back to the subject. Where were we? Bryce contacts me, and he says... I want you to be my first pick for Super Brawl, and being that Kurt Angle was the champion at the time, and he said that his other picks were Daniel Bryan and Magnus. Obviously, I'd seen Dan's stuff back in the day as well, not with Magnus but other characters. So I messaged Dylan back, and I would try to be as diplomatic as possible about it, and I said are you still going through with your plans for your team? Because I knew things were kind of being changed around a little bit. And he messaged me back and said, it's totally fine if you want to do the Team Angle thing. And so I messaged Bryce back and I said, I'm in.
Mm-hmm. And then we went to the Super Bowl week. Vegas Connection wins. And then you and Bryce kind of go off onto the side and was kind of feud, I would call it feud 1B as it pertains in the EWA. You always want your Grand Slam title feud and matches to be the main event, but you guys started to tell a story and run a program that was very much on par with the bigger stories going on in the EWA at that time. And how long was your guys' program? 4 months? Yeah,
I think so. Well, if you count Super Brawl as well, being that me and Punk and Angle were at each other's throats, I mean, that's December through to April, so, yeah.
Yeah. And now, you guys had a draw at Year of the Dragon, is that right?
Yeah, that is right.
And then you went on to defeat Daniel Bryan at Undisputed, is that right?
Undisputed was...
No, not Undisputed, the second one.
Oh, Uprising.
Yeah.
No, I beat Kurt Angle at that event.
You did?
I did, it was the Double Jeopardy thing, so it was Val Venus, but all due respect to Newt, but I still don't know what the hell that thing was.
That's probably Sarah's idea.
Yeah, I mean, Daniel Bryan took on Val Venus, and Val Venus took on Kurt Angle, and Kurt Angle took on me, and it was a whole thing, but I only had the one match that event, and that was, a lot of CM Punk vs. Kurt Angle the first part of this year.
And then Civil War came, and you got a Grand Slam title shot against Kurt Angle, because the story you guys were telling happened to have the Grand Slam title fall into your lap. Now, I don't mean that as in Bryce didn't deserve to beat Brett for the title, because he obviously did, but I know, you know what I'm saying, you guys had this story you were going to tell, with or without that title.
Yeah, definitely.
And so, it was definitely, not luck, but just good fortune that the Grand Slam title fell into your guys' lap. And why don't you tell me about your role plays leading, or in that week of Super Brawl, working with Bryce?
The Team Angle stuff. That was a lot of fun. That was actually, I wasn't sure, when I came back how I was going to fit in particularly. And so Super Brawl is really just a chance for me to just kind of test my skills. And because obviously when I'd been there before, I'd won a lot and had quite a lengthy run. And I kind of just wanted to show myself that I could still compete more than anything with, because like I said, the quality was is so much higher even in 2 years. So yeah, we just we ducked away to another set of boards, and the four of us just hashed out the role plays, and we kind of just got the concepts going, and there was a lot of good. It was a really open dialogue, but I think me and Bryce realized then doing them that the the dynamic between Punk and Angle was just that bit more interesting to kind of sit on the top, at least as far as, we were concerned. The parts that we were writing as sort of a cooperative effort were some of the most entertaining times that I'd had writing in a Fed.
How about... I'm trying to word my questions correctly.
Say whatever, I'm not going to be offended.
Do you find it difficult to write role plays for the same opponent for 4 consecutive months?
Yes and no. Like it's hard to explain because I think if the story that we had been sort of like less interesting to me, then I would have had a really hard time doing it. Obviously, back in my first run, I role played a lot against Christian in the space of a few months. Steve, obviously. So I'd done it before, but it was kind of difficult, mainly because of just the quality Bryce has as Kurt Angle. Sort of every single month I was being really, really pushed, which I mean I have been since by everybody that I faced, but the story was so good, and the sort of the evolution of the story meant that I always had a fresh subject to just absolutely sink my teeth into well, my character and the Kurt Angle character, definitely.
Right. And then once you finally vanquished Kurt Angle, you moved on and took on Fuzz as Diamond Dallas Page at Lethal Lottery. And I don't want to say it was universally agreed upon that DDP beat CM Punk roleplay-wise.
I mean, basically it was.
But I think... Do you think that people are kind of just like the Vegas connection is going through? Do you think people were just wanting you to be beaten, or do you think people legitimately thought Diamond Dallas Page had written better stuff that week than you did?
Well, I hope that it's that they just wanted to see me beaten, because I would like to think that I won on merit rather than because I don't know how else I would have won, if you know what I mean. But saying that, I did read Fuzz's role plays that week, and I mean I remember reading the first one in particular. I read it and I was just like, fuck, I've got to do my second role play really, really well, because I knew he was good, and there's no way that you could not be good and hold the tag team titles for coming on a year or whatever it is. But I was massively blown away, and I think I do think Fuzz deserved to win that match, but I also hope that I deserve to win that match. And I mean you can tell by the way the match was written and the way the finish happened, like how close it was. Like it could have gone. I hope it could have gone either way. I hope that it's not just a sort of passionate hatred of me and my character that led to that response. That I'm not the one, I guess, who can answer that.
Do you think that there's resentment towards you due to the length of your role plays? Yeah, I do a little bit. Like I try not to, and I don't really take it. Personally, I know that not everybody wants to sit down and read, because I'm aware that what I write is long, but I never have set out... Is that important to you, to make sure that what you're writing is long?
No, not at all.
I mean, I know it's not that it's long, because it's full of content and it's full of important things, but is the fact that you're churning out 3.5 to 5,000 words plus per role play, is that something that you shoot for, or is that just something that happens? No. I don't want to write a short role play, and short to me is
is going to be very short. Like, I don't want to put up something that's just one page worth of, even if it tells a great, like, I need to write for me, like what I do, always just, it winds up that way. And I feel like if I was writing less, then I wouldn't be able to tell as successful of a story. Do you know what I mean? Like,
no, I understand. Yeah.
Yeah, it's never been length to me, because when I started role playing, you know, I was really fucking bad, and yeah, my role plays would be, you know, at the most sort of like 2-3 pages if I was really pushing for it. But I've always been a big I've always enjoyed writing a lot. Like, it was one of my main sort of things. Like at school, like I was terrible at math, but I was really good at English. So writing has always been something I've been able to kind of put a lot of myself into. Mm-hmm. And the length just kind of comes on the back of that, in that I feel like I would be wasting my time sitting down and writing something that's a page long, because I write to sort of supply my need to be writing, and that, you know, the way that I plan my stories, it just unfolds that they wind up being long. And I know that's not for everybody, and I can completely appreciate where people are coming from, because they are, I mean, I know when I'm writing them that they are content-heavy things, but...
Yeah. Now, do you take this personal? Do you take that criticism personal, and, you know, the act of going through these matches, and while you haven't, you know, suffered through any losses perhaps in the past, but do you take this personally, is what I'm asking?
Oh, the sort of
the criticism. Okay. Yeah, let's make this a two-part question. First of all, do you take the criticism personally?
I mean, it's a little hard not to, in the way that, you know, it's over the internet and you can't sort of see what people are saying. But I mean, I try not to, and I do, like, definitely empathize with everybody who you know, may not be a fan, but like, to me, it's just like I would hope that they read the story and the content rather than look at the length. But, you know, not everyone, I guess, has the time, and it's I mean, obviously, you know, you've seen the comments, so it's not anything that I would, you know, take to the message boards and be like, fuck this guy, fuck that guy, like, for saying these things. Because I mean, at the end of the day, it's pretending to be a wrestler in writing, so I'm not going to take it too personally, because, you know, it's not me per se.
And, you know, aside from being a place where we go to pretend to be wrestlers, there's a pretty tight-knit community as well.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
You've been a part of the pay-per-view and Monday Night Raw chats, and you see with things like the podcast and other things that are going on, you know, there's a pretty sense of tight-knitness here. And, you know, there are certain cliques. Yeah. And, you know, it's just kind of, you know, much like high school and college, like there are groups of people that, you know, stay to themselves and talk about others and things going on.
Definitely.
So let me ask you this. Do you feel separate from the EWA community as a whole? Because the reason I'm asking is, you know, you don't take place, or you don't generally take part in OOC discussion on the boards. You don't generally talk about WWE threads and things going on like that. You know, you've been a part of a couple chats, but, you know, we have them fairly often. But do you feel like it's like the EWA community and you're kind of over here on the side just doing your own thing?
That's a good question. I see why you do this. Almost, man. Like, it's I definitely do feel like you know, I don't really fit in, like you said about the sort of, there are definite sort of clusters of cliques around, and I'm not really a part of any of them. I mean, part of it has to do with, you know, time difference, and then part of it also has to do with sort of me not engaging in a whole lot of chats is I'm either at work or I've got, especially recently, like there's a lot of stuff going on with my band and that whole aspect of my life that...
Which we'll get to, I promise.
Oh, well, we don't have to, but...
No, I was planning on it, but go on ahead about your...
yeah, so I do feel, kind of separate from it, and I don't want to be like, Bryce is, like, I'm really tight with now after everything we've done, and I've always had, really good discussions with John when Brett won Civil War and everything like that, and when we had the triple threat with you, I had quite a nice chat with him, and I'm not sure I'm not sure what these people are saying about my role plays to the other people when either I'm not involved in these chats or whatever, but I assume that it's nothing bad. I just the one thing that bothers me about it is that I don't want it to be animosity towards me, because I'm not setting out to create this cloud of doom that people seem to think I've created over the main event scene or whatever like that. And
well, I think the thing you need to remember about that is, and I know this goes right back to the question we just talked about.
Okay.
You shouldn't take it personal.
No.
It can be intimidating and dread imposing to open your role plays and see 5,500 words, and it's just a number, and it might not be filled with content, but it's almost a sense of dread whenever you see that, you know?
I get that, and I have read the comments, and I do understand. It's not so much as it pertains to what I write and how I do my role plays. It's more to do with I really just don't hope people think that I personally am an asshole for doing this.
No, not at all.
Because I respect damn near everybody in the Fed. I think everybody's so talented, and I think, and honest to God, I think that on any given week, I could be beaten, because if people really do the right things, I'm just a writer like you guys, just doing it because I want to do it.
Do you think? Do you believe that you deserve to be the Grand Slam champion?
I hope so. No. Again, I hate to be so contradictory of myself. I wanted to come on here and be, strong
and confident,
decisive, and
then I started asking you the really tough shit.
I know, man.
I can't lob them all. I can't lob them all off like softballs, man. I'm sorry.
This is pretty Freudian right now, but I feel like I deserve it, but to the point where I had to beat Bryce for it, and Bryce is an immense writer. Bryce, I'm getting those compliments in. Don't say I didn't try. So by beating him, I feel like that I did deserve to win those matches. And, but again, like you said earlier, I was very fortunate with the fact that he happened to win the title when we were already in the midst of our story. Because I think Newt said it on his podcast, is neither of us were particularly planning on me to be in that scene as soon as I was. I certainly didn't expect it, or even, I didn't ask for it, or go out of my way to try and get it. I thought in the way that John and Bick have done in the tag team thing, where they could have jumped straight into their Vegas connection shot and they didn't. That's kind of what I wanted to do. I wanted to have this feud with Kurt Angle, title, non-title, whatever, and when I came back, I always had it in mind that being that through personal things that were going on with me at the time, I had to drop my title the first time around. I wanted to get back there and prove to myself more than anything that I'm a good writer, but I didn't I didn't really expect or even desire to be in the Grand Slam I almost called it Triple Crown because that's
what it used to be. Yeah.
That's what it is. Yeah. I didn't. I didn't ask to get put in that position, but I was very obviously I was very honored to be put in that position, and especially against Bryce. And I feel like it did help us tell. Again, I feel like after that it added another dimension to the feud, and I was really, really happy to be a part of that as well. So I feel like I hope that I deserve it, and I hope other people think that I do as well.
In the past, I have been critical, not personally critical, or not detrimentally critical, but I have been critical of the character of CM Punk that you play, and how it is almost a direct representation of the real CM Punk that we see on television every week.
You bastard!
I know, right? And I talk about how you come in and create a character for. You have the template, but you create a character, and you take them and do something else with them, as opposed to just taking what you see and playing it forward from there.
Yeah.
What would be your rebuttal to the fact that at times it just seems like you're playing the CM Punk that we see on television?
Well, I mean, it's obvious that I chose to play Punk because. I like the character that he plays, and it was, especially kind of at the time when I came back, it was a good launching pad for me to do the whole best in the world, because I didn't have a specific thing to go on to. Mm-hmm. I mean, for me, I would say that there are a lot of little things that I do that I try and differentiate the character from. There will be a little reference here and there that CM Punk wouldn't make, so I take obviously with Punk as my main template, I take sort of little bits of other characters I really enjoy that I think will fit, and I've got a sort of plan in my mind to take it and remove it even further. But it's just the kind of character I fell into. But I mean, I think I hope that I play Punk like Punk, but better than Punk is on TV.
Right.
With a few little different things in there. I try and add in, little hints of, a character like even things like Hannibal Lecter, or things like the character Percy from the Green Mile book and stuff like that. And
I think that's easier for us to do, especially in your position, because we're given the freedom to say 2,000 to 3,000 words, whereas when Punk goes out on television, he gets to say about 800 to 900 to about 1,000 words at most.
Yeah. And
so we're able to develop the character further and then take it to different places, like the one you talked about.
Yeah, and so I get that as a criticism, but I do I think that I do enough things with my own kind of twist on them, because I identify quite strongly with kind of the CM Punk character and elements of him that you see in his documentary and his real life kind of stuff. I feel I mean, with the straight edge thing aside, I feel like I link in with quite a lot of what he says and what he believes, and so sometimes when it seems like I'm playing him close to him, it's actually me writing as me, but through that voice for whatever situation I'm in that week.
Right. And then you've got to do some... people said you came out before Lethal Lottery and you had this CM Punk heel turn.
Yeah.
Where you got into it with Harry Smith. And perhaps it was a heel turn, so as in the fact that you could take on DDP and have that butting of the head so much. But this last month, you've been portrayed more as... I mean, you've done some shitty things this month too, but you've been portrayed more as the hero. How has that been tough to go back and forth? And it's not that you've changed Punk's attitude, but it probably differentiates the way that you write the character.
Yeah, kind of. But to me, I've always, at least when the first time I did Punk, I came in as sort of very, I'm CM Punk and I'm just this guy with tattoos and I'm here to wrestle and blah, 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 blah. Until I turned on Steve and we did that whole thing, and then I went into a super straight edge preacher kind of mode, which I would really love to do again. But this time when I've come back, I mean the very first promo that I cut, I was talking shit on Harry Smith. I was talking shit on The Rock, even though Bick hadn't quite come back yet. I was talking shit on absolutely everybody, and I kind of feel like that I've played it more shades of grey this time. Like there's wiggle room for me, like, because I can do, if I'm up against somebody who the crowd in my mind would side with Punk, then I can do almost face Punk promos. But in the feud with Kurt Angle, I was the face, but I was cutting promos saying how I didn't care about the fans at all, and and fuck Harry Smith and all this shit, like so then when I did the thing with when people said that I turned heel, I was like, what? Like I didn't think I was a face to begin with. In a way, I thought that I was just playing, hopefully, a more interesting, is he a good guy, is he a bad guy situation.
The tweener.
Yeah, the tweener, as far heel leaning as a tweener who still gets good reactions can go. I also kind of play it as in this like modern era that we're in with wrestling, where there's quite a lot of heel worship going on. The fact that even on TV in real life, when Punk is being a heel, like against The Rock this year, and like you still hear huge chants for him a lot of the time in arenas. So,
and that was more of a product of, it was heel worship, but that was also a lot of anti-Rock sentiment.
Oh,
because
definitely.
The crowd knew what was coming, and they didn't like it. And they didn't like the fact that this long title reign that Punk had was about to be usurped from some guy that was part-timing it.
Yeah, definitely. But I mean, you can see it in the way that, Ziggler got huge face reactions when he was acting like a dick, and Daniel Bryan basically got turned face, even though he was a heel who, dumped his girlfriend on TV and did all this stuff. So that's kind of the way that I've always seen it playing with Punk, is I try and represent that side of the real world as well. But there are occasions where he would be booed. So the Harry Smith thing was not necessarily a heel turn as much as I'd been talking shit on him for so long that I messaged Newt and I was like, how about we actually do a face-to-face kind of thing? Never with the intention of me going into a super heel mode. I understand that Harry Smith in the EWA universe is revered and a legend and everything like that, but Punk is...
He's a dick.
and a dick, I hear from certain sources. But
sources tell me.
Yeah, but it was never meant to be a heel turn, but I did like the way that it let me be aggressive against Fuzz, in terms of, Fuzz especially helped because Fuzz's role plays that week were awesomely sympathetic to the character of DDP, and so it helped me that I didn't have to do any even sort of face-tinged things. I could just be, very aggressive about it. I still didn't think that I was playing a heel or a face, but it was definitely leaning towards that. But so with our stuff going on right now, it has kind of been, it could have easily been, I've just been slingshotted back into a face sort of position. But I mean, I did, break Cody's beautiful, beautiful face.
True.
And a mustacheless face, the way you're playing him, mustacheless.
Yeah, and I think everybody knows how I feel about the mustache by now. So
wrecked his mustacheless face. So like that's, admittedly, my character had a reason to do it. I did that role play, which I kind of broke a whole kayfabe thing. I didn't write it. I wrote it from the character of the real person, not CM Punk, where, you know, it wasn't supposed to happen, but
yeah,
it was but it's not like I feel like I've been forced back into a face position. I still feel like I've done things that, you know, aren't particularly morally upstanding.
Yeah.
But obviously with the stuff that you've been
doing.
But
with the how about this? With the stuff that's going on in the stories that you're telling,
yeah,
it's probably a good bet that the fans would still get behind CM Punk in the situations that you have him represented in.
Oh yeah, yeah, no question there, and I do agree with you on that. But again, that's just more the nature of the feuds that I've been thrown into and the people I've been thrown into them with.
And let's talk about that.
Yeah.
And this is not me looking for, you know, compliments or anything, but let's just talk about shortly the program that you have had to work this month and how that's gone and everything that's gone along with it.
Well, I don't know how clued in you are, but I'm facing this asshole called Craig, and he, god damn.
He is an asshole.
Just, you know, he hates Cody's mustache, and what can you say about a guy like that? I mean, the program this month, honestly, man, I've had a really, really good time with it. It's been sort of after me and Bryce got done with our stuff, it's kind of been this perpetual state of I know where I want to go with the character, and so but it's not really been like, okay, and this is the next big blockbuster feud for your thing, and I didn't think I was going to enjoy that. But it's actually turned out it's been really, really just interesting for me as a role player, and to get into the head of the character, to have gone, you know, bam, big feud with Angle, and then you do a month with Fuzz, and now doing the month with you. But this month I've felt really good about, man. I mean, how have to switch the roles? How have you felt about it?
I think it was tough when. You know, we came up with the idea for the Shark Tank on its debut, which was, you know, it was really well thought out and well done. And like I said, I want to thank John and Brett and Bryce and yourself and everybody involved 100%. For the opportunity to do this and stuff. But it went. We have no heat. Our characters have no heat with each other. They had that triple threat match back in April with Val Venus, but really. Nothing, like, our guys have never crossed paths, and so I thought that in this 1 month, we have made it to the point where these guys legitimately, personally hate each other.
Yeah, and
that's what I wanted to do, and before last week on Slam, it was just Cody Rhodes hates CM Punk.
Yeah.
And I racked my brain all week trying to think, how am I going to get away for CM Punk to hate Cody Rhodes? Because if CM Punk doesn't hate Cody Rhodes, there's going to be no heat going into this pay-per-view. It's going to be all one-sided, and it's just not going to work out. And so, you know, we talked about some things and came up with this idea for Rhodes to face the world title and crush it, and it worked out beautifully. Like, I feel like these guys would legitimately hate each other's guts at this point in time.
Yeah, and for 4 weeks, short weeks work, and with you having your stuff going on, and I've been, I'm really, really happy with how it's pulled together. And like you said, like your idea last week was, I don't know if I ever really like truly told you how good I thought that was. Like when you wrote it to me, I was like, shit, yes, that is what we need to do. And like, because I know that I brought up to you, we should have a running thing through the show, and it just worked out beautifully. It's easily like my favorite segment stuff that I've been doing since the stuff with Bryce, definitely.
And I want to also thank the handlers of Brad Maddox and MVP and the Primetime Players, because I did not get a chance to talk to you guys and go over that stuff, and you know that I think that shows the the closeness again of the members of the entourage for letting me just use their characters freely like that. And I apologize, it won't happen again. But I think every character that was involved with TZ last week came across looking very well, and I was very proud of the running segments. And it's kind of an inside joke that I'm not a huge proportion or fan of segments throughout the show. I like to have my matches do the talking and let the role play speak for themselves. But it was a ton of fun, and I'm glad that we were able to do it. I think the match this week is going to be great.
Oh, me too.
You know, you've got your first role play up. I got a chance to read it today at work. Same.
Oh, you did. You didn't take Fuzz's advice on that.
No. I read your role plays, and you know, it was the same typical stellar work from TZ. I don't know why I expected anything else. So
you did expect someone else, Craig.
No, I did not expect anything else than your best work.
No, well, I mean, I've got to return the kindness. On big event weeks, I don't often read a lot of other people's work other than my opponent's until the deadline. Just because I feel like, you know, it'll take me out and I'll see parts of other people's role plays. So I'd be like, oh, that would be good. And I don't want to get into that. But so I read Bryce's first one because it was the first one up. And, you know, I've read a couple. But I got a chance to get into yours today, man. And what everybody's saying about, you know, you wanting to step it up and put out your best stuff, like you did it, man, and because that is a stellar role play. Like there was like the actual character stuff you were doing was and the dialogue was fucking great, and so I was very impressed, man. And I've
just been looking for a way to integrate comic books into it. And I think I figured it out. And when the light bulb went off in my head to compare CM Punk to the Juggernaut, I was like, that is fucking great.
That was cool. I was kind of like, fuck, man, I should have come up with that.
Yeah.
Oh, damn.
So thank you for the kind words. But all right, let's move on. Let's actually get past this EWA stuff. I know in the past that you've said that you were really busy, and there's always been some YouTube links thrown out there every now and again about your band. But let's go ahead and let's just get it out there. Tell us about your band and what it's all about, TZ.
This is strange for me to be discussing. But yeah, my band, we've been together since October 2010. So when I left the EWA, I left the EWA because my granddad fell very ill, and I'd also, you know, had blah blah relationship breakup. This isn't like, you know, therapy hour or anything like that. But
that sounds like maybe a new podcast idea.
We can do that. Get the couches out and.
And does that make you think about having sex with your mother? So go ahead. Sorry.
No, there's I'd started a new college course like the month before as well, so everything was really. But the course I was on was a music course, and you know I knew all the guys in my band from before, but it just like fell into place that we all took this course the same year, and so 6 of us just, you know, got together in this rehearsal room, and we wrote like 3 songs in a week, and then we started going out locally and doing shows, and we've just been trying to build it really since then, although I say that and we haven't put anything out since August 2011, so yeah.
That's understandable, though. Now, are you guys more original music? Do you guys do covers?
Yeah, original. Like we play a few covers here and there, especially because, you know, we have more than 6 songs, but we have 6 songs released officially. So that's like our set, and that's fine if you've got a 20-minute set or whatever, but if you've got like 40 minutes, you got to come up with some other stuff. But I mean, it's mostly we write our original stuff. I mean, we're sort of in between studio dates right now of getting our new stuff done, getting our new EP recorded and out there. So I'm really looking forward to how that goes down. And
what's the recording process like in a studio?
Always sweaty as hell. Like always disgusting. It's cool though. Like you know, you go up to our first EP was recorded entirely in our producer's like bedroom studio.
Yeah.
So that was like programmed drums and everything like that. But this time around, we're doing like live drums. So we went, you know, down to had to catch a train up to the studio. Went in there, jammed it out, and you sort of, as a rule, when you're doing an EP, which is like we're doing 5 tracks, you kind of do it in chunks of 2 days. So you do 2 days for drums, 2 days on guitar and bass, and 2 days on vocals. So we've done our 2 days of drums. We sat there in it was like the 2 fucking most humid days, like for us to go up into a tiny room and sit, like surrounded by leather couches and just like, you know, obviously all the sound blocking stuff is just pitch black, so you're just sweltering. The windows are open and like you've got fans blowing in, and you're just sweating so hard. And the most annoying thing is like I'm not even playing in these 2 days.
Right.
You know, I'm not doing.
No, what instrument do you play?
I'm vocals.
Oh, are you?
I play the instrument of my voice.
Wow, I never would have put that past you after hearing your voice. I mean, you sound like a troll skinning a cat.
Thank you very much.
Not a compliment, but okay.
That's the kind of direction we're going for. So.
Oh, okay. Well, then never mind. No, that's cool that you're the singer. Is there any extra pressure on you, do you feel like, to be a good lead frontman or anything?
Originally, yeah. Like, because like there's another vocalist in the band who's like he's been my best friend for a long time. But he did more heavy vocals and stuff like that, and people kind of, especially like in the band, looked to me to, because he wasn't so confident on stage, and neither was I. Is the thing. Like I was when we started the band, I'd only been singing for around 2 months, 3 months. Like I wanted to play guitar. That's what I always wanted. Yeah. But everybody on our course played the fucking guitar, and they were all much better than I was. So I was like, okay, singing it is. And so initially it was hard for me to like step out from behind an instrument and just be there with a vocal and a mic. And I mean, now it's a lot better. Like I don't really feel. I know that there are still people looking to me to be a frontman-y type thing, but I don't go out there as a frontman anymore. Mm-hmm. Like, I don't go out there trying to, I just go out there and I just act.
Do your shit?
Yeah, I just do my shit, and I just act like I would if we were playing, you know, in our rehearsal room, but like just on, if you've got a crowd in front of you, all that is it just amplifies your energy back, so all it is like just a slightly more energetic version of that. Like, so I don't feel the pressure so much anymore, and like, you know, I used to have to really sort of, in my head, I was like, okay, make sure you're like talking with the audience and trying to be a funny bastard. And
how many of you feel alive tonight?
Yeah, right. Everybody in the place. Now,
sound like? Can any of you go out there?
Yeah, I do my best sort of like, you know, Poison, Motley Crue type deal.
Is that what you would compare the band to? Okay, if you had to compare the band to one popular, well-known band, who would you compare? Like, what are they like?
And I can't say Motley Crue.
You can, if that's what they're like.
In my head, Motley Crue.
Yeah.
Okay. Either Motley Crue or, you know, something equally as disturbing. But I probably like from our first record, it's kind of like A Day to Remember, 4 Years Strong type stuff. Like, you know, the punk sort of pop punk with the heavy screams and the breakdowns. But this new record is it's lighter in most ways, like, because we were like, okay, we need to do you know, lame shit like melodies now. So
do you sing a ballad?
Oh man, I wish, but no. I'm thinking about, you know, starting a little R&B side project, but
like Brian McKnight.
Not like Brian McKnight, but you know.
Let's say this question is just for me, and I may edit it out. But seriously, is Robbie Williams as big over there as like they say he is?
Who says that he is?
Well, I mean, it just almost seems like he's kind of like the second coming of the Beatles almost over there.
Well, maybe in the early 2000s he was sort of.
That's crazy because he's come over here and failed. And you can ask Jazz. I'm a huge Robbie Williams fan.
Consider yourselves lucky that he failed because
he seems like a prick.
He's a goddamn idiot.
Him and George Michael farting around.
That is a train wreck duet that I would pay a lot of money to see.
Well, just go to your local men's rest stop pastor, and I'm sure you'll be able to hear it. A couple more questions before I get you out of here. Do your bandmates know about your EWA?
Yeah, not all of them, because some of them, it's not necessarily because, I try and hide it from them. It's just a lot of them don't get wrestling in general. It's not the Fed thing. It's not. But the other vocalist in my band is the one I was telling you about earlier, who was contemplating about signing up as Billy Gunn.
Yeah.
Yeah. So he knows about it, and he sort of understands. And sometimes he asks how's the Fed stuff going, and did you write anything cool that I could read? So that's quite a cool thing, because if I tell people about it, I don't necessarily expect them to be like, cool.
Yeah,
that's really awesome that you do that.
Are you going to tell your friend that you were on the EWA podcast this week?
Oh, well, that's the milestone of my Fed career thus far.
Is this going to be the opener on your album? This podcast?
All 59 so far minutes.
just tell him, hey, I've got 51 minutes of something I'm ready to use for this new album.
Some tasteful strings kind of laying behind it, and then just this conversation.
Mm-hmm. That's very, very Motley Crue.
Yeah, it's an artistic choice. I don't expect everyone to understand it, but.
Well, here's a last question for you, TZ.
Okay.
And I'm asking this seriously, not because I'm your opponent this week, but what's it going to take to beat CM Punk in the EWA?
Do I give my real answer, or my in character? Everyone on the board thinks I'm.
No, I want you to give a real answer here. What's it going to take to beat TZ and CM Punk for the title? Well, you just gotta really get your character. That's what I've always felt like my strength with the character is that I identify very strongly with my character, and when I write my role plays, I know where I want them to go, and I know what. I don't know word for word, but I know the flow.
I know what I want Punk's message to be when he says it, and I know the way I want it to be delivered. So I think everybody here is capable of that, and I know I can tell from role plays there are a lot of people who do that, and I think it's just a case of really, and don't use any of this against me, if that, because that'd be pretty fucked up. But
I've got a plan in place, anyways. Don't worry about it.
Okay, cool. But all you've got to do is just I've always wanted, especially since this new run started, and everyone initially was so happy to see me back, and I've always just wanted it to be not a case of, oh God, look how long that role play is, or I want people to see what I'm doing, and if they think I'm as good as a lot of people comment or seem to say I am, I want it to motivate them to do, not to be like me, because I'm not saying that I'm necessarily better than anybody, but I would like it for them to be, if they think of me as that good, to be like, okay, fuck this guy, I'm gonna be that good, and I'm gonna beat him. And I think that's all you need to do, is just not be. The word intimidated getting thrown around really kind of creeps me out, because that's not what I want to do at all here. I want people to just come in and just do what I do, and just give it their best, and try and tell a story in the way that you want to do, and fuck everybody else sort of in there.
I think having fun is a big part of it.
Yeah,
you need to be enjoying what you're writing.
Yeah, 100%, and that's why I feel like I do so well here, is because I see all this stuff about length and everything like that, but I know what I'm writing for me is what's entertaining me to be behind the keyboard and write. And as you just got to combine that with getting in the right headspace and just go and hash it out. And I think, like I said, any given week I can be beaten because everybody here is exceptional. Honestly, like we've got some unbelievable talent here. I've been in quite like a few feds now, and there's a reason that I took 2 years out. And when I decided I was going to get back into it, there's a reason I said, okay, where's the EWA link? Mm-hmm. So that's all I think it takes to beat me. Like I go out there every week to write what entertains me and win if I can.
Well, I will say that if it's not me that beats you this week, God willing, the person that does wind up taking the title from you is going to more than deserve it. You're an amazingly fighting champion. I know you won't go down without a fight.
No,
and I think
sir, I will not.
That's a huge thing too. You've got my endless amounts of respect. I've loved working with you the last 4 weeks, and I wanted to have people on, or I wanted to have you on the podcast this week to not like prove the naysayers wrong, but just show them what kind of person that you are, and how great you are. And like I said, you've got endless amounts of respect from me, and I hope that I'm not going to say that I hope we can continue working into next month because I don't know what the plan is, but if there's a chance where we get to work together in the future, I'm more than going to jump all over it, title or not, because it's been a lot of fun.
Undoubtedly, and everything you've just said, man, is the total same to you. Thanks for having me. Obviously, like, I think I got a massive amount of respect for you and what you do as well, and I think that as far as it goes, the stuff we've put out this month, if it continues, whatever the result is on Sunday, that is going to be an honor to me, man. Seriously.
Well, thank you. And if anybody else would like to come on and change the way that people perceive them in the EWA, all you got to do is download Skype. Send me a message on there. That's exactly what TZ did today, and we'll get everything worked out. Everyone is welcome on except for Steve. He's a condescending little prick. And
fuck you, Steve.
That's right. He's being a little whiny bitch in the shout box right now about what the card is and how there's only 2 matches on it. Oh. Steve, I love you, and I'm just kidding. I've said everything I need to say there. So best of luck to you this week, TZ.
And to you.
Thank you. Best of luck to everyone else involved in Red, White, and Bruised. We haven't seen, I don't think we've seen the role plays yet. I think they're about ready to come in bunches, and I can't wait to read them all. There's been a huge build-up to this, and I'm anticipating it greatly. So, best of luck to everyone, and we'll be back next week, I pray to God, before the EWA podcast, and maybe I'll be podcasting as Grand Slam champion, or maybe I'll just be podcasting as the next victim of TZ in his title reign. We'll have to wait and see. But until then, thanks for joining us. Anything else you'd like to say, TZ, before we head out?
Just well done to everybody. The build up to this, to Red, White, and Bruised has been unbelievable on all accounts. So just keep doing what you're doing out there.
Thank you very much, and have a good one, EWA Universe. We will catch you later.
Peace.